Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and yes, the lighting tonight is a little bit weird, but it has to be to show off what I want to talk about. I actually have three things to talk about. I have a update to my personal life and something really cool that's going on. I got three guns to show you that are up or linked to the channel, up for review here. And I also want to talk about this cool lamp made out of a saxophone, because two of my local subscribers made this happen. I guess I'll talk about the lamp first, because that's why the lights are off. You guys know Jack. I always talk about him in my range reports because he has lent a ton of guns to the channel for me to review. In fact, the three guns on the table tonight are his as well. But a couple months ago, I was at his house. He's like, hey, I know you're a professional musician, and whenever you do your live streams, I see all those instruments hanging on the wall in the background. Well, I got this old saxophone that I played in middle school. It's a cheap student model saxophone, has no value, no sentimental value. Would you like it? Maybe you can use it as a decoration. I said, well, sure. So I got it, and it definitely needed to be rekeyed and things. But I was talking with the parents of one of my other students around here, and actually they're subscribers to the Texas Gun Vault and the Texas Gun Vault 2. And I was talking to them about it as a decoration, said, hey, we can make a lamp out of that. I'm like, well, that sounds like an awesome idea. So I dropped it off, and I got it back this week, and this is really cool. So I want to thank Pat for making this. He is a very creative person, always doing cool stuff. And of course, I want to thank Jack for donating and giving me the saxophone. So let me show you what this lamp does. It is set up that wherever I touch it, it turns on, and there's three settings, low, medium, and high. So if I touch it here, it goes to low, or anywhere else I want, medium, and high. Pretty cool, huh? And there's also, and this is kind of difficult to get on camera here, but there is an LED strip inside the saxophone that I can control from this little controller here, and I can turn on the light. Now, it's red right now because it matches the lampshade. Let me turn off this light over here, and you might be able to see it better. There you go. So you can see the internals of the saxophone are all lit up. If I change the color, I think it shows off a little bit better. There it is in blue and orange and so forth. But I like the red because it matches the lampshade, as I mentioned. So that is really cool. Yeah, isn't that neat? So thank you, Jack, and thank you, Pat. I appreciate both of you guys so much. So yeah, this is going to be in the music room from now on, but I want to make a little video and thank both of you. So let's talk about something else before we get to the guns. I finally did something in my personal life that I have been wanting to do since I was a teenager. And I finally got I passed my test. I'm still waiting on the FCC to issue it. But I finally got my amateur radio operator's license. So I got my technician's class, which is kind of the first level. So I'm going to study now for the general and the amateur extra. So I'm going to get all the licenses. I've always been fascinated by radio. And people joke, we got cell phones now. I was like, I get it, but there's just something cool about radio. Always has been and always will be. And so, yeah, so I got my FCC radio technician's license. Just going to wait for the FCC to issue that. And already started buying some equipment and things. And now when I'm out here in the garage and working on guns and things, I'm actually listening to the local 2-meter band. So I picked up this really nice transceiver here. Just a little handheld one. I like to listen in to what's going on, so I have it right now set to 146.52 megahertz, which is the national calling frequency of the 2-meter band, and nothing really seems to be going on tonight, but I'm always listening in and seeing what's going on there. So yeah, so now I'm going to be an amateur radio operator as well, and I think that actually plays in well for, you know, prepping and things. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. So now let's talk about what many of you guys are probably here to discuss, and that's the guns that I will be doing some upcoming range reports on. So let's talk about, let's see here. Let's start off with the pistol. I got one pistol, new. This is obviously a Browning high power, and I got to turn that into the light a little bit so you can see that. This is actually the Gerson MCP35. So this is that Turkish-made clone of the Browning high power, and I have to say, from just handling it, it's pretty darn nice. It has a couple things that I don't like as compared to the Brownings. One is the magazine that comes with it doesn't have that little spring on the bottom, so these magazines don't pop out. But the original high powers didn't. Well, it popped out there, but these high powers didn't. always have those, and I'm just kind of used to that, so you kind of have to strip the magazine with your hand. The hammer on this really does give me some slide bite. I guess my hands are just really fatty. I don't know. But yeah, maybe my hands just need to lose a little bit of weight, as Jack said. But when I rack this slide, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm totally going to get slide bite with that thing, or hammer bite with this thing. So yeah, I'm going to have to be careful shooting it. I had the same issue when I reviewed a high power in the past. It looks and feels just like the FN version did, the Mark III. The finish is pretty nice, but I can tell you what is not as nice, and that is this trigger. Oh my gosh, this trigger is horrible. Let me get this thing close to the camera here, and hopefully you can hear it. I know it's real dark here in the garage, but yeah, that's horrible. And what that sound you're hearing is that magazine disconnect. So when I take the magazine out, of course the hammer won't fall because of that safety, but all that sound and all that grittiness goes away. So I don't know if Jack's going to take out that safety. I would probably look into doing that, because I think this might be a pretty decent trigger pull, but that magazine disconnect safety, man, that makes that trigger pull terrible. Real gritty. But yeah, so we have this. People have been asking me to review this, and this is one of those high power clones that are on the market now, along with the Springfields and the new FNs, which I'm really interested in. So we have that. We got something else that is really cool, and honestly, if I see one, I might actually pick one up. And that is the Ruger 1022, but this particular version, and of course, once again, I got to get this in the right light. It doesn't look like a Ruger 1022, does it? It looks like an M1 carbine. So Ruger now makes the 1022s in an M1 carbine looking stock. Isn't that really cool? So it looks very much like a World War II M1 carbine. It even has the sling swivel on the side. It has the little cutout in the back for the, was it the oil and for the sling. The sights are different. They're really cool on this. The only issue from just handling this here on the table that I've discovered is I think the front sight post is canted a little bit to the left. So when I look through the peep sight, through the back, I think it's canted just a little bit to the left. Barely. But that's just one thing I noticed, and that's not adjustable in the front. I mean, you can adjust, I think. No, I guess not. I guess that blade in the front is just kind of fixed where it's at. Maybe you can slide it right or left, but it's a little bit canted. So I think that's just a Ruger thing, but I don't think most people would notice. I just do because I'm a dork like that, and I like perfection in all of my guns. But I think it's not going to be an issue when it comes to sighting it in. That's really cool. And the other gun is a gun that I used to have, but then I turned into something else, but I never shot it in its original form, and that is the HK USC. Now, you guys know I even did a whole series on converting one of these to a UMP clone, but I never got around to shooting the original. So this is the original with the single stack 45 mag. It has that weird kind of stock in the back, and I have some issues with that because with this thumb hole stock, I can't get my hand around to activate the safety. So I kind of have to do it on the right-hand side. I guess I can kind of reach it. It's just to put it back on safe, I can't get my thumb around that enough because I can't make my arm go around it. So yeah, that might be my biggest issue, but I'm used to shooting the UMP. This thing just has that 16-inch barrel and all the other controls. So Jack did add the rail here on top and a SIG optic on the top as well. So that's pretty cool and pretty nice. So yeah, so that's some guns I have into the channel on review. Really excited to shoot them all. And I think the one I'm most excited about is this Ruger 1022. That is really cool. I've always wanted to have an M1 carbine, and I've always kind of thought maybe I'd like to order one of those auto ordnance ones. You know, they're a new production M1 carbine, and they look kind of nice. So I know some of the older ones, the original collector ones, are really expensive. And so I think to get kind of a new production one would be kind of nice. But that looks really cool, doesn't it? Really cool. Very World War II-ish. And then once again, I'm sorry about the bad lighting. But that's just because I wanted to show off this thing, and to turn on the lights in the garage, it's on the other side of the garage. So you'd have to sit there and watch nothing for about 15 seconds as I went over there and turned on the lights. So that's all that I got going on. Got my amateur radio operator's license, got this really cool lamp, and 3 more cool guns to review. So what do you guys think? Cool channel update or what? I still got to get those staccato 1911s that Dee lent to the channel, to the range. My wife and I did try to go to the range yesterday, but like you guys always hear me complain about, we had some knuckleheads at the range. And these are people that obviously they were inexperienced, they were loud, and just obnoxious, you know? So I wasn't going to get any quality footage, so I just came home. So I'm going to try to go to the range tomorrow. The range is closed on Mondays, but because I have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm going to try to go tomorrow afternoon or evening. So there you go. So thank you, Jack, not only for the awesome firearms, but for the awesome saxophone. And thank you, Pat, for making this awesome and cool lamp. So there you go. So what do you guys think? Let me know. What a cool life I lead. I'll tell you what, man, Texas Gun Vault has been such an amazing ride, and I'm looking forward to years and years and years ahead of just fun, excitement, meeting new people. You know, it's really interesting because I think that even people in the future that I have not encountered, or maybe even people that haven't discovered my channel yet, who one day I may meet and be friends with, are out there, and I just haven't met them yet. And that's kind of cool too. It's kind of the unknown and the whole journey. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching.